Hi everybody, how are you? Welcome. So, today is tiptoeing through the tulips and teacups or something. I just call it teacups and tulips, and that gets the two main things, right? How are you guys doing today? We are in an event in the Sacred Treasure House over in Facebook, and so that is what we are doing today. Hey Ramona, hi Amanda. You guys, thanks for popping in. And hang on just a second. I gotta get to where I can see all the comments, because I tell you what, somebody's not being very nice to us and even letting us see all of our comments, so it's kind of been a problem. So if you are interacting and we miss you, that's why. Hey Robin, how are you? So we hope that you don't take it personally. It's just a problem, and we have no control over a lot of this, so we just do our best to see our comments and see what's going on, right? So Jeannie was up just before me. She had a cute everybody's projects are so great, so we hope that you will pop in over in the group. And the best place to watch is in the group, because then all you have to do is refresh your browser between people, and then the very next person pops up. So you can't beat that, right? Hi Lisa, hi Deborah, Dana, Shirley, Sherry, everybody's popping on. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna still have tulips and teacups, but it might be a little bit different. I'm gonna go a little different direction, and I just want to play. We are not always experts, right? But it doesn't keep us from playing and having a good time and crafting around. So let me put you down here, okay, so I'm Christy here at My Artful Adventures, and so today our tulips and teacups, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping and watercolor technique. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it gives you some ideas of something new to try. I'm going to put these arms down. It's kind of distracting to me. So there we go. Okay. All right, so let me put us down here to the workspace so we can see. Oh, and I should have checked that out, you guys, to make sure that is in a good spot. No? Oh, and look, now we got a problem. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on 1 second. I don't know. Obviously, it wants to install an update. Sorry. Okay. Now, hopefully I can get it back into the spot. There we go. That should work. Okay, there we go. So this is a stamping platform. I'm gonna back out a little bit, and I gotta put those arms back up. They're in my way. Let me back out just a little bit here. I tell you what, I try to have everything ready, and that's just the way it is, right? Oh my goodness. All right. Breathe, people, breathe. So we're gonna do a little watercolor technique. We're gonna use markers though. You may have seen me do this before, but I enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. This is a stamping platform, and so today we are going to stamp on a little image. Let's see if that's going to be too wide. Oh, it's squeaky. Oh my goodness. Tight and squeaky. How hilarious is that? So I've got this fun little stamp that it's going to be a little, well, now my lid's in the way. It's a teacup, and we're going to put a little fairy garden in it. So I thought that would be a lot of fun, and that's what we're going to work on. This is going to be kind of a bigger card, or a card front, I guess I should say. I wish I would have. You know what? That is a whole 5x7, and I don't want that to be that big. Let's cut that down, because if you're going to make a card front, it's nice to have it to where once you put it on your, you know, your card front, it already has a little bit, it looks like a little bit of a matted border. So what you can do, like the easiest way to do that is just cut the width and the length off by 1/4 of an inch, and then you can have a nice, or if you want to do a little bit more, if you want to have 1/4 inch all the way around, cut it off 1/2 inch. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I think that would be fun, because I've got some fun pattern paper probably that would look adorable with it. So I'm going to cut that, so that's going to be 4 1/2, and then let's see, 5 by 7, so then that would be 6 1/2. Hang on. So we'll just cut that other 1/2 inch, and then that'll give us a nice little border. And also, you know, if you're going to do a little bit of watercolor, you can tape around the edges, and then that also gives you another little border. So when you're done, okay, let me squeak this back open. Oh my goodness. Okay, and now what you do is you can, I got something sitting under my mat, and it's like just raising up. It's all bumpy looking. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is to put this where you want it, and I kind of want it somewhat in the center actually, which seems, you know, we always say we don't want things in the center, but as we do this, we're going to, well, I'm put it down a little bit. We'll put it about here. That seems like a good spot. And so then all we do, I don't know if you're supposed to take that part off or not. Probably. It'll probably stick better. It's got kind of a foamy thing under it. Okay, so first, let me put my paper on here. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's one of those days. I think it's one of those days. Why? I don't know. So we're going to put that on there. It'll stick on the platform. Oh my. Now, what I'm going to use a soft gray ink. And the reason I'm going to do that is because as we, oh, you guys, I can't, that doesn't look straight. Upside down, it looks crooked. Well, now, how am I going to do that? I almost wish the platform thing was the other direction, you guys. So, okay. Oh my goodness. Why do some things just have to be... No, you know what? Let's do this. Oh, I have a great idea. If we turn it the other way and put our paper down there, or we can just turn it this way, and then we can turn it the right direction, right? Oh, what was I thinking? I think that'll work. I think that looks more straight. And if it's not, we'll just live with it, right? Let me press it down good. Okay. Well, you know, what, 10 minutes in, we'll stamp something. Okay. So we're going to use this soft gray color instead of like a black, because if we use a soft gray color, then what happens is as we work with our watercolors, we don't have a real harsh border, and it kind of looks more like it's just regular watercolors, right? And that's kind of what we want to go. What is the gadget called? I know. Stephanie is always wondering about what my gadgets are called. Hi, Lydia. How are you? Hi, Grace. That was I loved your thing you did today, this morning. Okay, so the gadget is called a Misty, and so that's just what it's called. I have no idea why they named it that. I've always wondered, but this is what happens. We're gonna ink this up, and this, since it's a new stamp. You know, a lot of times you have to stamp more than once with a new stamp to really get it to take the ink. But here's what happens. When you've got your paper down here, and we've got it secured with a magnet, and the company actually is called My Sweet Petunia. That is the company that makes these. Lots of people, this was the first kind that came out, and let me see. I have a magical little thing that presses really hard, and I don't know where it is. I do. It's somewhere. I saw it this morning. But you want to press down firmly on it. But this will hold everything. And now, if we want to re-ink it, which it's not really, you know, of course it is a soft gray, but if we want a little bit more definition, all we have to do is add some more ink to our stamp. And then we can just do it in the exact same place. And so, you know, it's just wonderful. Now, what I was going to say was, this company was the first one that had made a stamp platform like this, and so many people tried to copy it, and they took their patent serious, and there were many companies that had to shut down what they were making because the court ruled in their favor. And I mean, it was in litigation for a long time, and the court ruled, you know, in their favor. And since then, there are companies who have kind of redesigned their gadget so that they could still have the gadget, but it was enough different that they were able to, you know, successfully use it, right? So you have the yes, that was one of the companies that had to stop making them, Ramona. Yeah, but look at that. How cool is that? So look how nice our little image is. It's all stamped and ready to go. So that's just our basic image. Now, with this technique, you can add other kinds of little fun things. Hi, Capri. You can add other little goodies, which we're going to do. And so we've got some, well, for one thing, I've got some tulips coming up that we're going to use. And I haven't really decided what order to do these in. I'm thinking maybe we should work on the house and then we can put in our other things. But look at this one. Here is a set that's got tulips. I've got some tulips. And so, you know, you can just have a few pieces. There's a few pieces that are kind of the real basics. Like this one. This is one of the very first sets. And so you've got some little grasses here, some foliage, and it's just, you know, perfect to do. Oh, well, and I think this is the other first one. And these have been around years and years, and these things can work in so many ways. And so you've got some little bitty flowers here, and you can just use them in so many ways. And you only, if you just have a handful of these, you can mix and match them and, you know, make little flowers and things. And at first I thought about using just a teacup stamp and then putting the other stuff in. And then I remembered that I had this one with the little fairy garden. And I thought, oh, I got to do a fairy garden one. Oh, and a genie. I just tell you, that little bird thing was just adorable. So what you do to do this technique, there's a couple of things a couple of ways that you can add your water. And we're not even going to use like regular watercolors, you guys. We're going to use markers. And if there's a couple kinds of markers that work really great because they are so juicy, have so much pigment in them, and they will go a long way. And one of those is the Tombow markers that are like this. This is one, and this is what we're going to use today, are the Tombow markers. So I think, I don't know, you know, let's just pull some colors out here and go for it. We probably want a brown color for some dirt, right? We're going to have some brown for dirt. So we're just going to scribble that on here. You can use like something that, if you have a glass mat, you could, you know, scribble your color on a glass mat. You could use like a ceramic tile that you might want to use for that. And then, you know, as you put your colors down, let's see here. And we might want to use that brown for the roof too. I'm going to put a light and a dark pink on here. And then we're just going to use this as our paint palette. So So it's kind of a, kind of a different way to do things. Some of you may have seen me do this before. I enjoy it. I am by no means an expert. So let's not get that confused. I just have fun doing it. All right, how many of you have something that you enjoy doing? Are they illustration fine points? These have, they have a brush nib on one side, and then, hi Karen, and then they do have like a little bullet nib on the other side. So they're kind of handy. And then there's also, Tombow also makes another one that is a real tiny set. Not the set is tiny. You can get a whole set, and these are called twin tones. I don't know why. There's only one color in each marker, so I don't know. And so with these, there are tiny nibs on here, and this was the even tinier. And so if you're wanting to do some, detail work, then that is, and this one might be about the same as on the other one. But then you've got a super small little nib on here. And so when you're doing tiny little work like this, sometimes you might want a very small thing. And so I'm going to leave that one out because we might want to use that. So let's use, let's do a little bit of, well, let's see, what shall we do? Let's kind of start with the, we don't need to do a brown roof, right? And the way you do this is you take your brush and you want to get it really, really, really wet to start with. And then you pinch it all out. You pinch all the water out because you want it pretty dry for this technique. And so then you can just take it and just get a little bit of color here. And now we're going to work it like watercolor. And so now we can just go ahead and apply it to our images. And you're just gonna kind of paint it on. And so and you want to do it just like you have dark places and light places, right? So you would want the underneath to be a little bit darker. And then you can just keep adding. Watercolor, when you're watercoloring, you can do it kind of in layers. So you can do one layer, and when it's dry, if you wanted a little bit more color, you guys, let me put it down a little bit closer. That's kind of far, right? And it isn't easy to use. What isn't easy to use? I don't know what is not easy to use. The stamp thing? Hey Tanya, how are you? Okay, let me pull us in a little bit closer. There, how's that? That's better. So you do want some of this a little bit darker, and then you can go back and put a little bit more in, because you would have a section that was darker. And it would probably even be darker right up here at the top, right? Okay. And I don't know. For some reason, it really picked up that edge. And then, hang on a second. Or another thing that some blue colors are a good thing to use for shadows. And you can, use some of that too for some shadows. I did not. But let's use like this. Let's kind of make this green a little bit darker over here. And with this technique, you don't even have to really use watercolor brushes, because you're not trying to soak up a ton of water with this technique. So watercolor brushes actually will hold a lot of water. So these are just, my regular brushes that I use for, other kinds of acrylic paint as well. And like I said, I am no expert. but we're just gonna have fun, right? And isn't that the point of crafting, is to have some fun? I gotta get a little bit more water. If you've got to get more water, pinch it off again. And only the first time do you really need to stick it all the way in the water to get the whole thing wet. After that, you can just kind of dip the tip in. Boy, I am having trouble getting enough color on there for some reason. Okay. And, you know, since this is a fun little house, maybe we want to add something different on it. Maybe I'm going to put a little bit of brown on here. And just make something fun. Just make some little stripes down there. How about that? So, let's see. And some of these blue colors, oh, that looks good. Blues are good for windows. And a lot of times, you know, and even though these are tiny little things, you often want to take into consideration, you know, kind of some shadowing. So like, since we made this kind of darker over here, maybe we would put a little bit more color on the edges of the windows to make them, you know, kind of like they are set back a little bit. And so that way, when you're doing that, it gives them a little bit more depth, right? Okay. All right. So it kind of looks like the sun is coming from that way. Does that make sense? Hi, Julie. How are you? Thank you. Brush tip like acrylics or ink like. Stephanie, I am sorry. I don't know what you mean by that. Like acrylic. They're just, you know, you just want something where you can get into the small spaces, right? You just want to be able to make a nice point. And that's one of the things about it. I mean, if you're using a round brush and you can make a nice point, you know, like maybe, you know, and maybe you would want to even use a smaller brush. I mean, you could use a smaller brush, but look what a great point that, you know, I can get with this one. So I'm okay to use it with that, right? Okay, let's use a little bit of purple. Did we use purple? No, I think this was purple, right? You know, when you scribble them on here, you're looking at it and it's like, what was that color? Let's put a little bit of purple. Let's make a purple door. And let's do, I don't know, which color should we do the house? You know what? We could leave the house just white. But what fun would that be? And how about if we want to put some little stripey things on there? I don't know. I've got too much color on it to give it much of a stripe. Although we might use one of those twin tones and do that. Let's see. Now, oh, here was another window. Let's color our little window. Color inside. This one has a little windowsill outside that could, you know, have some plants. I don't think we're going to put that on there. Let's see. Let's put Let's do some little brown shutters on there. And I kind of like the way that it's starting to kind of have a little bit of a soft look about it. And then, should we do a pink teacup? Should we make it, let's see what this color is a little bit different than the other one. And so we could kind of brush this on from the sides. Because we would want to make it look more rounded. And you can leave some highlights, helps to, you know, make it look more rounded. So something that is round, you're going to have more highlights kind of in this center part here. So I don't want to get that too dark. We want this a little bit darker on this side, and then we'll come back and put some more in. Now, one of the things I'm missing by using this dark or this gray ink is when you actually stamp these with some other ink, you can pull the color out of the lines and create shading as you go. So because we're not doing that, this is a little bit harder. So I'm going to kind of darken in here underneath the handle, because that would be darker. This would be a little bit darker down here. I tell you, it's like picking up, it's really, for some reason, I don't know why, it is really sticking to where the ink, instead of just being dark where I want it. It's like kind of collecting where the inked lines are. That was not my intention. But we're going to just go with it, right? Now, one thing you could do, I'm going to get some more water on this. Oh. Yeah, this is a really fun technique. If you haven't tried it, it really is a lot of fun. And you can use, you know, you can use your own stamped images if you just stamp them in black, because a lot of times people will use a technique like this and then they will go back and, you know, outline things in black anyway. So instead of doing that, you know, you can just start with a black outline. And then under the base of our under the base we would want a little bit more darkness in here. And I'll just kind of pull that out. Darker on the edges and darker underneath other things. Boy, I tell you, usually I have everything too wet, and today I'm struggling with getting enough water. Isn't that the way, you know? Yeah. When you're just gonna play around, that's the way things are. So okay. So I think, you know, we've got some light here in the center, so that helps, you know, kind of lighten it up. And you know, too, you can, because we're using watercolor paper, you can even take a wet brush, and you know, if you want some of it lightened up, you can go back in and kind of spread it around because it's still watercolor right there. Oh, and here's another place that we would want it a little bit darker. Is like under the edge here. And right under there. Okay, so let's use, we got our little mailbox here. Make that like it's a brown mailbox. And I think, let's see, let's kind of do some steps. Oh my goodness, and here's this one I'm always doing. I wonder if I can get that off. Get some water on that, you guys. At least it's kind of blotted off a little bit, right? I don't have any gray out here. Let me see if I've got a gray handy. Nope. I just want a real light gray color. Let me see. And it's nice if you've got an extra piece of paper, which I did. What did I do with it? I had a piece of paper I was like marking some color on. Oh, here it is. You can take a piece of paper so you can see. Yeah, that seems like a good one. Let's use that. And there is one gray color that goes perfect with that one we stamped too. Okay, so get a little bit more water. And let's work on these little steps. So we're just going to do the front. That is just not dark enough. There we go. Be kind of some little stone or some little, I think I might actually use a little bit of blue with it. And so you can mix them just like you mix colors. You can just mix them right there in your little palette. Okay. Let's put some dirt in our teacup here. I don't know, what color should we do our little house? And then we can just add our little stones up here on our fireplace. Okay, that looks cute. Should we leave the house white? If we leave the house white, I can show you. Let me show you how we would use our blue color, and then we'll just make like, you just kind of make shadows. You can leave something white, and then by making it look like you've got some shadows, you don't have to color the whole thing. So I'm just going to put a little bit of blue, just a soft bit of blue. I mean, you can barely even see it, you guys. Just a little bit along the edges. Maybe we'll just kind of highlight the edges on all of that. I mean, it's very, very subtle. I mean, you can hardly even see that. I can hardly see it. Oh, I got a cramp on my leg. Ow. Ow. Oh. Yeah, so you can use blue for that. Oh, Lydia, are you talking about the stamping platform? Yeah, I tell you, you know, if you're not using it a lot, or it doesn't matter if it's exactly, you know, where you want it, you know, it doesn't really, you know, do you a lot of good, right? Should we go ahead and make a brighter rim on our cup? Let's kind of mix these two pink colors for that. Just to give it a little bit more. Ew, I don't like that. Ew, I don't like it. That other one is way a different color of pink. But you know, the point is just to have some fun, you guys. Just have some fun with it. Let's see. Should we make our mailbox? I don't know. What color should we do a mailbox? I don't know. Let's make it, well, let's pull some of that green color down here. Nobody says a mailbox can't be a green color, right? Let's make its little flag. How many of you ever lived somewhere where you had the, oop, that got too much water in it. How many of you ever lived somewhere where you had the mailbox to where, you know, if you put a letter in it, you know, you stuck up the flag so the postman would know that that you had mail that needed to be picked up? Anybody? We did. I lived out in the country. I grew up out in the country, and that was exactly what we had. Okay, now we can take these and we can make some little lines across our shutters now that that's dry. And we need to get a little bit of dark on these edges. Darken that up a little bit. Give it a little bit of depth. You had the mailbox with the flag on your last house. Hey Kathy, how are you doing? Stephanie, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you won. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's do our little hanging lamp. Let's put a little color on it too. Maybe it's like a little bit of a metal color. And we'll just put some gray on that. But we need a little bit of a yellow for our little light, don't we? Let's give it a little bit of yellow. Here's a little warm yellow color. It's kind of more of a yellow orange, but we'll work with it. Give it kind of a little glow. Oh, there's another one up here, you guys. I missed it. Just kind of color it in. Some of these are so tiny it's hard to, you know, give them much in the way of, you know, the shading. They're just tiny. You don't need much color. I don't know. I am really surprised by how that, how the paint or, you know, the color is settling into the, you know, where we inked it. That kind of surprises me. Okay, now then, let's go ahead and, here's like some little stepping stones. Let's put that at the base of the house. And here's the other way that we use this method is you can use your marker directly on the stamp. And a lot of times, you know, you can help condition a new stamp by just tapping it on your skin for a little bit. So this is what you do. You take the side of your marker and you just go like this. And I chose to use, even though we did the steps gray, I chose to do this color, the brown color. And now we've got some little steps there, or some little stones. And we could put some more. Should we put some more? Put them down a little bit farther, or just leave those? I don't know. Let's just make it a little more like it's down here. Okay. And now you just take your brush and then you just tap a little bit of water. And for something like this, you don't want it to, well, you just add the water. I don't know what else to say. And then if you wanted to pull some of the color out, you still could just, you know, you've got that color on your brush, and then you can just, you know, kind of drag the color out a little bit. So you've extended it and it's not just in there all by its lonesome, right? So then you've got that color, and you can add as much, you know, you can blur them out as much as you want, right? But I think I'll just use a little bit of this. Okay, so we don't want too much of those because we're gonna put grass here too. So why don't we go ahead and I tell you, I gotta be careful I don't lose all of them here on my messy desk. Let's put our tulips in before we go any further. Okay, so then we can just put our tulips, and if we want to, and here's the thing, do we want the tulips super tall like this? That seems really tall, so I don't think so. So I think what I want to do, I got another block here, maybe I'll use this one, and this will help me not put those so much of that on there. So now what we do is we put our green, I think I'm going to put a darker green. We put the green on the stems and leaves. I'm not going to do it all the way down there. Let's see, what color should we make? I was thinking pink, but now we got the pink teacup. That doesn't seem like a good... Oh, should we do some purple ones? Oh, we got some purple doors and stuff. Maybe a darker purple. Or I don't know. What do you guys think? Some pretty yellow ones? What do you guys think? What should we do for colors for that? This might be a little bit darker. What do you think, Jeannie? What kind of color should we make our tulips? I don't know. So many colors, so little time. We could put some yellow ones in. You know what? Should we just make them some dark pink? We've already got some dark pink going on. We could put them that brighter pink. I mean, who doesn't like dark pink tulips, right? And then you got to breathe on it to moisten it back up. Purple. Yeah. Jeanette, I already got these on here. You know what, though? What about like a purpley pink? Let's do that. Let's do a purpley pink. Ooh, that could be pretty. And now we'll just, oh, you know what? So that I don't really mess that up, this is what I need to do. I'm going to mask off our little teacup here because I don't want it in, I don't want to go any farther than this. And so we'll put those here. There we go. Like that. Oh, and I got it over the house too. That's okay. So now, I'm a messy painter. And now we just add a little bit of water onto these. That needs a little bit more. I wish I would have masked that off, but now it looks like, you know, it's in front, not behind, so that's okay. Right? Then we just drag this down here. And if you want to put, you know, a little bit more color on, just grab it on there. And then some of this is really, I'm really surprised. Okay, let's do this because let's go ahead and put some of our other grasses and stuff on now. Oh, I'm missing my tiny grass. I should have some smaller grass. Oh well. So we can ink some of this up. Oh, we never did color the path either. We gotta put some color on our little path, you guys. There. All right. Let's get a little, we didn't put anything here on this little windowsill either. Okay. All right, let's get some more grasses going here. And then when you are doing like things that would be, you know, to do more of a fill-in kind of a thing, you want to like stamp it in more than once, like about 3 to 5 times. And that way you get the variation of color is gonna help you add some depth to it in a super easy way, right? And if you can kind of keep things in kind of a more like oval or a circle, it helps to kind of help frame it even though it's not really framed. Does that make sense? And then we can also use some taller things to make it look kind of like some trees. I've got some taller things right here. Let's use a little bit of greenery on these. Greenery. Let's put some green on them. And I think I'll use I think I'm going to use this one. It's just tall and non-discreet or nondescript. So let's use that. And that would be some brown. We need another tulip over here. Let's put some brown on this. I should have stamped that in the back. So it doesn't look too ridiculous. And then we'll put some green on it too, so it looks more like a tree. But I don't want it stamped all over the flowers. Oh, I marked that with green instead of brown. Well, that's okay. All right. So now we can add one of the other little things. You can actually use, oh, there's my tiny grass in there. You can use something that isn't really even made for that thing. Oh, this looks like it's got purple still on it. Let me wipe it off. Let me see. Oh, it sure does. Okay. So here's some green. And we'll just kind of stamp that around so it becomes more like a tree. I can't believe I got that one brown. Or I mean, I got the one green instead of brown. Let's kind of keep this up high. There. And let's put another one off over here. What, my time is almost up, you guys. We want to make another. Well, we could. Oh, I wish I would have put another tulip down here. Where's our tulip? Let's put another tulip down here. First, let's do our water down here. Let's kind of do this so you can see how this starts to come together. So now we're just going to kind of dab all of this. And the more of your ink that you've got on there, the more that it's going to, or you know, the more that you've got your paint marker stuff, the more it's gonna, see, you know what, and I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a cheater's way, and I'm gonna use this tiny brown and put some of that in here. Well, I can't get, why isn't that marking? Uh-oh. I was afraid it was dried up. There. And you don't even have, okay, so then as you're adding this water, see how it starts to kind of look like a, you know, like watercolor. Okay, and so now down here when you're doing grass or something, you can just take your brush and just kind of follow those lines and help give it that, you're softening it, but you're still leaving that grass feel to it. So you still have some definition, but you've softened it up. I'm kind of sad I got that dark one way back there, but you know what? I think that's going to be okay because it'll allow us to put another tulip down here. it'll look a little bit better. Whew. What do you guys think? You think you would ever try this technique? It can really be a lot of fun. Let's put our tulip back down there. Let's put another tulip. Let's let it dry for a second first. Here it is. I'm looking for the tulip. Now this time though, let's use the other thing, because this time we can use our whole little tulip. Here's that green I used. I'm double checking that that was my green. And I think we used these two. I think I did the pink and then the purple. You know, tulips, I love tulips and iris. I love all spring flowers. In fact, I pretty much just love spring. How about that? So, I think I'll just put these here. Now it's kind of, we've got a lot of that grass behind. It probably wasn't the best idea to do this after the fact. And we need a little bit more grass down here. I'm gonna have to fill in the, we're gonna have to fill in some of that the color on the tulips. And put some of that purple in. So you can see them. Okay, not my best work, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Anyway, you know, it's a fun technique, right? You can see how, you know, you could practice and, you know, and I haven't done a whole bunch of this in a while, but, and there's other ways to do this as well. You can also use some of these water-based markers and use a blender pen and not even use any water. In fact, I have a really short little video for one of my Tiny Tuesday videos that's on my YouTube channel. And so it shows how to do that. Now, one of the last things before I go, and so after me is Lisa Mary with L&L Lucky Crafts. And so we want to give it, you know, a little bit of a feel of some sky. So let's put in a little bit of sky color. Thought I had a nice blue here for a sky, and I don't think this was it. Well, I don't have time to do anything else. Let's get a little bit of blue out here. And you know, you can just have a little hint of the blue. And you can just kind of, you don't have to do it everywhere. You just put a little bit around. And you don't want it like all over. And then this will help with what I was saying about making it, giving you kind of this circle or oval around your work. So you can just, so then you're trying to make this feel like, you know, like this, like a kind of a circular or oval pattern. And it just kind of frames it. And you can soften those edges a little bit more with water if you want to. Don't get it too, I don't know. I always feel, I want to work on doing skies better. But, you know, it's always surprising when you come back to it and you're looking at it. It's like, well, that's kind of fun. Like, I can sit here and I think, oh, good grief, this is almost embarrassing to show people. And then I'll come back to it like tomorrow and look at it and it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. So I hope that you've enjoyed, seeing this kind of little technique. And this one, I tell you what, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take those stones, when I find my stones again, and I'm just going to ink a couple of them and try to put them there. Or, what we could do? Let's do this. This, I think, is that same color. And I'm just going to draw another couple of stones and soften them up with some water. How about that? I don't like that it's empty right here. So I'm just going to do this. How about that? And now I'm just going to touch a dab of water on that. And I'm going to like that better. So because they're little markers, you've always got those points and you can, do that. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is just so much better. So we've got like some of those stones in our little mailbox. You guys, thanks for being here with me. And let's go over and see Lisa Mary. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.